Legend of Lemnear. I have a fascination for particular anime artists. Some really made a name for themselves for being either some of the greatest visionaries in this art form or infamous for their odd style and personal obsessions. People like Shinichiro Watanabe, Yasume Umetsu, Satoshi Kon, and Masami Obari, just to name a few. They're the kind of anime directors and artists that, when you see their work, you recognize it instantly. And Satoshi Urushihara is like that for me. Is he one of the greats? No. Is he an absolute weirdo? Also no. But I do think that more respect needs to be put on his name. He's a stunning illustrator, and his work is striking, crazy clean, and when he animates something, it has a clear sense of depth. So, in order to sell you on the man, let's talk about the 1989 OVA Legend of Lemnear, a sword and sorcery project that you could put at the end of the animated anthology movie Heavy Metal, and no one could say that it's out of place. The story follows Lemnear, a traveling warrior with a dark past that seeks vengeance against the sorcerer Lord Gardein that sacked her village and killed her family. Think Conan, but a skinny, silver-haired girl in bikini armor. With the anime being only 45 minutes long, the whole story feels like some greater narrative was truncated. That's how a lot of anime was made back then. Small, OVA runs that would make people go and buy the manga. But not in this case. Legends of Lemnear is an original IP, and Satoshi poured his blood and sweat in the animation of this short movie. It has a bit of fan service here and there, but considering the genre, it's to be expected. The story begins with Lemnear arriving at a town owned by Lord Vaughn, a henchman of the wizard that destroyed her village, who is holding this town with fear and threats of slavery. What follows is a subplot of saving the town and putting a stop to his slave business. It's actually a bit comical how quickly this plot with the slaves comes to an end. Vaughn shows up, kidnaps Lemnear, and while she's held captive without any weapons, she defeats his goons, steals the keys to the cells, and accidentally kickstarts the revolution, all in the span of a few minutes. Meanwhile, Vaughn was too busy with his harem of brainwashed slave girls. Even after he hypnotizes Lemnear into being subservient to him, she manages to break free with the power of the Silver Warrior inside of her. The fact that it comes out when Garden shows up makes it seem like she broke free with the power of hatred. We also learn about the prophecy of the three warriors of bronze, silver, and gold. She's the silver one, and in her backstory we see the bronze warrior. And at this point in the story we can also assume that the golden warrior is Garden, or someone he is working for, because the silver and bronze warriors have to team up to stop the golden warrior. Lemnear is then goaded to attack the hideout of Lord Vorach, who turns out to be the golden warrior and the master of Garden. The Warrior of Gold's plan is unintentionally hilarious. He trapped the Warrior of Bronze and attacked her village because he was actually looking for her, the Warrior of Silver, in order to get her power, because she somehow has the power to stop him. But the Bronze Warrior, who is prophesied to defeat him, is kept alive as a way to lure her there, which is the stupidest thing I have heard, because she didn't even know that the Bronze Warrior was alive. Last she saw him, he was defeated and dragged away. And two, she has a better reason to be there, and that is to kill Gardein. She doesn't know or even care about the Golden Warrior or any of his plans. So, the story has to make him monologue his tragic backstory on how humans are the real evil. It's not really clear why he was shunned by humanity, just that he was, and now he wants to kill everyone. He could have lived his life in peace if he had left them alone. Instead, through his actions, he ended up being the catalyst that made Lemnear take up arms and become a warrior. It is also revealed that Lord Gardein was the literal right hand of the Warrior of Gold, who has mastery over his body and can transform. This would make him the real force behind the sacking of her childhood home. They start to fight. Gold turns into a dragon and manages to kill off both Mesh, the Warrior of Bronze, and Lemnear. But if you have ever seen any anime where the power is inside the hero all along, and that they just needed to believe in themselves, then you know that the death only makes them stronger. So she gets back up, resurrects the Warrior of Bronze, then they fight some more. The Warrior of Gold then turns from a dragon into a rock titan, and, with Silver unlocking Bronze's true power, together they kill Gold. They then fly back on her small dragon mount, and the credits roll. Story-wise, the one big problem I have is Mesh, the Bronze Warrior. He exists to have the same color hair as Lemnear and be captured. If he had died protecting her in her backstory, then okay. Then he would have had a role, a real role to play. But by the end, she is doing all the heavy lifting, while he exists just to be carried by her. If the prophecy is to be believed, Mesh should have played a bigger role. But in the story as we see it, he is a damsel in distress, that she has to hold his hand into the finishing blow. He exists just as a way to get her to unlock her Jesus powers, and then guide him into his power. Then they kill the Golden Warrior together. The Silver Warrior is a god of power. Gold is a mad god of destruction. But Bronze is just some guy. Like a lot of anime set in a vague European setting, the names of the characters are a mismatch of sounds that try to sound as European as possible, while failing spectacularly. All that they are missing are apostrophes to complete the look of a D&D generic character name. Like I said, Satoshi and his director friend that he works with, Kenji Yoshimoto, are not the best storytellers. They barely manage to scrape by with just okay. Lemnear is a pretty derivative story even as far as Sword and Sorcery goes. But I can't say I was bored. It's fun, it's campy, and not a bad way to spend 45 minutes. And yes, Satoshi's art carries it. The dude makes schlock, but at least it's nice schlock. The characters are fine, and they play their generic roles to a T. Now for some bad news. In the West, Legends of Lemnear was licensed by Central Park Media, so by default it's abandoned media right now. There's no way to legally get it, and I doubt it'll be picked up again by another distributor anytime soon. So online copies are, in a weird way, the only thing preventing this from becoming lost media. So, if you have 45 minutes to kill, or are looking to add something new to a playlist for a Sword and Sorcery movie marathon, then I suggest you give Legends of Lemnear a shot. It's not groundbreaking, but it gets the job done. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing.